oldest technique to make pottery, but at the present day, they are mostly working with the electrical ones to mass productions. But for the difficult forms, for the new creations, they are still using this oldest technique because this has too easy control speed. Especially while they are working with the difficult forms, sometimes they have to catch perfect symmetric and perfect thickness of the clay. That's why sometimes they need to kick it faster and sometimes they need to kick it slowly. Especially for the sensitive works, this oldest way is still best way. This art has a big history in Cappadocia, and it dates back to Hittites, almost 4,500 years ago, and it's continued till these days from father to son, master to students, I mean generation to generation. Unfortunately, there is no school in this area related to pottery making. If a person wants to become a master in this art, they just come to this type of places and masters teach them for free because this is our traditional art. But unfortunately, we are on the brink of a new digital era. The young generations are very far from the arts. They are always looking for easy money, or they would like to become a phenomenon on Instagram. But they don't know easy comes, easy goes. Unfortunately, this art is slowly dying in Cappadocia. Probably we are the last generation who made this art in this town. We use two kinds of clay for this art. One of red clay, another one is white clay. They are both local from this area. That is the red one, which we call terracotta. And we get this red clay from the river side. There is a river which is passing through the middle of this town. The name of the river is Red River. It's longest river of Turkey. It's coming from almost 400-450 kilometers away. Actually, that Red River is the main reason why this art is very well known, very popular in this area, because that river is carrying lots of different materials, minerals, alluvions inside. That's why this clay is very useful for shaping, very useful for cooking some food inside or keeping some food inside as natural storage. But if you look around, especially if you focus on the walls, you are going to see a few examples of the white clay. For example, tiles, for example, plates are over there, and they called ceramic items. The difference between ceramic and pottery, if a piece made by red clay, it's called pottery. But if a piece made by white clay like those, it's called ceramic. That's the biggest difference between ceramic and pottery arts. So, as I can understand the amount of the clay, he is going to make us this, one of the most difficult shape that we can see on the wheel. At the beginning, he was using just one piece of clay, but totally he will make 4 different pieces, and then he's gonna attach the piece each other to make this shape. As first piece, he made that base over there, and just right now he's making this shell, and then he will continue with the handle. Last and the most difficult part is the circle part, because inside must be hollow, empty, for wine. This is for wine. While he's making, I would like to give you more detailed information about this shape. As I told you before, this is one of the most difficult shapes. Original of this piece created by the Hittites almost 4,500 years ago. But why the Hittites have created this type of forms? Because of their belief. They used to believe so many different gods and goddesses. But the sun goddess was one of the biggest and the famous one. And this circle is symbolizing their sun. They just fill it with red wine and they add some spices inside and keep it outside, put on a higher places. The reason, after the sun rising, when the sunshine passes through the middle of the circle, they believe that the sunset blesses the wine, makes the wine special, and when they drink that blessed wine, all the sunlight goes into their body and it brings health. And they were using 2 different techniques to serving wine. One is on the wrist like this, but for the bigger sizes, especially larger circles, they were using this shoulder technique, and they were serving the wine upside and down like this. The main meaning of this technique is to show some respect, because in that time it was forbidden to making directly eye contact with the kings, with the nobles, and you have to be very respectful for that. And just for showing your respect, they were using this shoulder technique without the eye contact in too much respect. But at the present days, I am mostly using my spatial technique, that is direct body. If you don't like to share your wine, you can use my spatial technique. The original of this piece, which is 4,000 years old, is still displaying in Ankara right now. Ankara is the capital city of Turkey, and there is a museum which we call Anatolian Civilization Museum. In the past time, it was mostly for wine, but at the present day, we are still using this shape for serving all kinds of liquids, because this has a special secret inside. Secret means, before you serve something with this form, if you keep this one in your fridge as empty for 10 or 15 minutes enough, and while you are serving your liquids, you don't need to use extra ice box next to it. It keeps the temperature inside at least 2 hours. And especially while you are serving the wine, the oxygen goes inside to the circle from the spout and connects with the wine. It means that you can get the real taste of the wine by air circulation like this, and for next day you don't have any headache. That's why I can say this shape is the symbol of this area. He's making this circle right now. Please pay attention to this part, because he's gonna use very unusual technique to make this ring. And as you can see, there is no measurement. He is working just by using eyes, hands, and experience, nothing else. Actually, the most important point of the circle is the thickness of the clay. He has to catch right and the perfect thickness just by using free hands. Otherwise, if he makes any mistake, it's cracked. Even though he has 30 years experience, but it's not that mean he's going to make this circle perfectly. Especially speed of the wheel, eye concentration, and thickness of the clay. These are very important. If he misses just one of them, he cannot make this circle. After a few years experience, everybody can make this spout, handle, or this base. But for this circle part, just experience is not enough. This is my hometown. I know that there are almost 45 professional masters in this art. Only 13 or 14 masters can make this circle. Look at it right now.
Ooh. That's cool.
That's why I was talking about the thickness of the clay. I mean, if he makes it so thick, he cannot roll it down. Or if he makes it so thin, it's cracky. He's just taking the unused clay from the surface. is the circle. And as I told you before, he's gonna attach the piece each other. So after artist shaped the clay, first of all, we put all these finished ones in our drying rooms to them get dry. It takes almost 15 days, but I'm just talking about the regular items. We have some big plates, big vases, they have to dry at least 3 months. And we have special drying rooms under the ground. Otherwise, if they absorb the sunlight directly, they dry too fast. That's why they shrink almost 2 or 3 millimeter. It means that they can get cracked, especially from this attachment part. If they dry perfectly, we put them into electrical ovens for firing. And firing temperature is about 950 degrees Celsius for 15 hours. And after the firing stage, it becomes ready for drawing and painting. And after the drawing and painting, some of the items are varnished from outside, and some of the items are glazed from inside and outside, and then it becomes ready either to use it in your daily life or decoration pieces. This is pure red clay. After we get this red clay from Old Bengal River, we just mix it with water, that's all. We don't add extra material inside for coloring or to make it stronger. This clay has already 5% iron oxide. That's why the color is reddish like this. In the past time, this clay was more useful, but last for 20 years, we are mostly working with the ceramic productions. We are mostly working with the white clay. Because white clay items are always stronger than the red clay. After we get this white clay from the mountainside, this white clay has already 30-35% quartz inside. Quartz is a semi-precious stone, and it has almost 8% crystal inside. It makes the items always stronger than the red clay. The second reason is all the ceramic productions have 2 times firing, 2 times baking. That's why I can say all these ceramic pieces are at least 2 times stronger than the red clay. The red clay items are just for decoration at the present day. And we have a traditional story in this area related to pottery making in Cappadocia. According to the traditions, the man who couldn't make pottery, he couldn't get married in here. Because Cappadocia is a volcanic area, that's why we don't have very big fertile lands. The locals can earn their life by farming in the summer season, but when the winter comes, there is really nothing to do that. That's why before you get married, you had to prove your talents for girlfriend's father by making pottery. The short meaning of this long story is the man in Cappadocia made pottery and the woman in Cappadocia made carpet for their incomes. And the talented man in our family made pottery again, and the talented woman in our family made designs on the items. But the untalented ones in our family, like me, we do just presentation about the history of design. Somebody has to do that.
Oh, that's right.
Yes, just like this.
Wow.
Wow. Fantastic.